still tired.
What? No, is it on Steam?
Testing 1, 2.
Collecting cats.
All right, it's 5:30 in the afternoon. We're going to start recording this podcast now, and I got to go do some stuff, and I'm coming back in a few hours.
No, I don't play games.
Okay, but let me show you my cats.
Ambient hum
I see how I'm doing.
of
Is it a
my
Metroidvania?
dishwasher.
Oh, yeah, that's
For
okay. Hang on.
Hello.
all that
Hello.
Just,
That's
BFTP.
oh, yeah.
an advanced model. I paid a lot of money for it. See.
That's
join the hangout.
That's
everybody doing?
Akage-san.
I've been recording for an hour.
Gunner
Hang on.
Demus. Wait till he's on
first
so he
half
can
hour
say
is
something.
me in
He
traffic.
needed to be
Hello?
I can't read all the. Besides, you're obviously senior managing director. Oh, I'm senior managing director. Hey, Ellie. Hey.
Is this one of those?
Are you doing this one, Ellie?
Minimal life.
Yeah, we want Ellie.
No, I'm just taking notes.
She has a professional anecdote to share.
No, I don't want to discuss my professional
sounds-
anecdote. I already told you.
Oh, that sounds excellent.
No.
What happened?
Well,
You have to tell us. Yeah. Is it inappropriate?
very.
It breaks several
That sounds
laws.
excellent. I mean, I wanted Christine to tell her anecdote about David's infidelities.
Oh, really? Does she know about that?
Everybody-
Sometimes you gotta just do what you can before.
Yeah,
He
but
doesn't
not
like that
everybody
either.
hired one of his
Hello?
lady
Slow
friends.
life games.
Yeah, do some meowing in there.
Hired in what
Yeah,
capacity?
like Farmville or Animal
As
Crossing.
in, ongoing
Escort?
permanent part-timer
Hello?
at the gallery.
I can't hear you. Thumbs down.
That was before she knew the lady was David's
Wait.
mistress.
Upon learning
Oh, I can hear you now.
No, we're stuck with her. We want to still be able to go to Santa Fe.
Yes.
You don't control cats directly. You control cats directly. You don't control cats. Control cats. Tonight's episode of Bear Friend Tea Party is brought to you by the Stupid Phone Cat Game. To get a free trial of Stupid Cat Game, your phone, go to stupidcatgame.com/Bear Friend Tea Party, and you can get a free trial.
Do it live so we can have live phone calls.
So, Jeremy, what's on the podcast tonight?
On the podcast tonight, well, we've got a great show for you tonight.
Fuck yeah.
That's funny because it's so untrue.
No, it's true.
Well,
Are we there? Hi.
we've got a great.
Hello.
Let
Hello,
me tell you,
caller.
we've got a great show for you tonight.
Hello, caller.
Segment 1, I'll be rolling the dice and choosing a random topic from the database.
Oh, great database.
Segment 2,
That's probably going to be the best one. Too.
Daniel Gunnard Beamish. Danny, are you doing how many Daves can we name?
That's a good
Segment
topic.
2, how many Daves can we name? Segment 3, the philosophical problem with the whole left shark meme. And segment 4, classic children's cartoons of the 80s and 90s, Disney's Adventures of the Gummi Bears. That should be a lively discussion. I'm about ready to bounce down there to segment 4 already. But before we get into that, let's do some listener correspondence. Before we get into that, why don't we do a little listener correspondence? We got an interesting review from on iTunes from Dr. Pencilblock, who writes of our podcast. He gave us 5 stars, and the subject of his review was didn't make me want to eat a beehive. And then the text of his review was A+.
I believe we agreed to make that a guarantee of our program.
Well,
You can listen to Bear Friend Tea Party secure in knowing that we will never make you want to eat a succulent, mouth-watering beehive.
I don't know if we can follow through on a promise
Chock
that.
full of crunchy,
So actually,
delicious bees.
in all seriousness, I did think that
Sweet, gooey honey.
I did think that review from Dr. Pencilblot was a little weird.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we even really talked about eating beehives on our show. We've mentioned bees a few times, but it seemed a little out of left
Maybe he's
field.
familiar. He or she is familiar with our work.
Well,
Are we-
actually,
Are we operating on the assumption that this wasn't just a review Danny wrote?
It was.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Oh.
No, this is a legit review, and I read it and I was like, that's kind of weird.
Well, he must
Like,
be
we've gotten
contrasting
some
it
weird.
with another podcast that does make him want to eat.
This is so.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Probably is like his
You
experience
guys,
in
are,
the
you
past.
guys are getting ahead of me because I actually looked at some of the other reviews that Dr. Pencilblot had written, and I'll share those with you now. So actually, if you look,
I want to hear this.
He left a review for the podcast WTF with Mark Maron.
Yep.
He gave that 1 star, and the subject of his review was hospitalized by bee stings. And then he says,
Yeah, take that, Mark Maron.
He says, was compelled to eat several large beehives by this terrible podcast and almost died.
Is that true? He
Oh
really
God,
did
it hurts. Can still feel the bees stinging my eyes. Do not recommend. F minus.
that? F minus.
F
Do you
minus.
think that
Well, he gave us an A plus.
do
Take
you
that,
think
Mark
that
Maron.
whoever did that, or like deliberately made other reviews so that knowing that we might go look at them?
I don't think that it is
Or-
our place to really. So here's one he wrote for. This is for Star Talk Radio with Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Personal astrophysicist.
which he gave 3 stars.
Great podcast. One of our sisters.
He says.
Yeah, that's
It's not a sister
a
podcast.
spiritual.
no. When we were at
sister.
when I was at ReasonCon last month, I actually met Neil, and he told me this. He said,
Our universe is filled with secrets and mysteries, leaving us with many questions to be answered.
I actually met Neil, and he told me this. He said,
What are you saying?
I actually met Neil, and he told me this. He said,
Plutonium got on the periodic table on false pretense, just between you and me.
I actually met Neil, and he told me this. He said, I actually met Neil, and he told me this. He said, who are you and what are you doing here?
Danny, was it?
Yes.
Could you even tell what he was saying with that enormous beehive in his mouth?
I thought you were going to say mustache in the way.
Me too. That
That
would have
too.
been better.
So, no, you want to take it again? Or?
Yeah. Okay.
With all the
Yeah.
bees in his mustache?
I'll just
So I
wait
was
for
at
you guys to stop
ReasonCon
talking.
last month.
We're just goofing, Jeremy.
No, that's fine.
This
No,
is the joke portion of it.
They'll cry it out.
There will be no jokes after the
So,
topics begin.
Dr. Pencilblotz wrote another review for Star Talk Radio with Neil deGrasse Tyson, which he gave 3 stars. The subject of that review is waxy but sweet. He says, in the review, he says, ended up taking a big bite of a beehive because of listening to this podcast. But at least the honey was sweet and the bees were fairly docile. May listen again. And he gives that a B minus.
Well, he was probably listening to an episode with Chuck Nice.
Yeah. Dr. Pencilblotz also wrote a review for the Serial podcast, which he gave 2 stars. The topic of that one is painful welts on my genitals. And the doctor writes, I heard this podcast was pretty good and decided to check it out. The podcast forced me to have sex with a beehive, and then the bees all came out and stung my vagina. Don't see what all the hype is about. C+. I bet you guys were assuming that Dr. Pencilblots was a man, just because they were a doctor.
Pencil Blots.
I'm ashamed now to admit that's true.
Like
So I found
Also,
one
I
more-
assumed it was Danny.
I said he or she earlier.
I found one more.
Go back
review
and listen to it.
I
said
found
he or
one
she.
more review that Dr. Pencilblots has left, and that was for the podcast of Wait, Don't Tell Me.
What do you mean? What the hell?
And the
Explain
review
that.
is
not a
the
good
title
show.
of that
It's a
review
great
is
show.
Oh God, no, Jesus Christ, no.
It's the best show on earth.
And then she writes, no bee stings this time, but Peter Segal is an insufferable twit. Do people actually listen to this insipid garbage? D-.
Nothing we do needs correction.
Yeah.
All right, segment 1. So I couldn't think of a topic. I couldn't decide, so I'm just gonna... I would just like to... John, do you have your...
I can pull it up.
346-sided die?
Oh, hang on. Wait, it's in here somewhere. Wait a minute.
Now, I would like to... So I'm just gonna roll that we have a...
Wait, no, listen. John's rooting through something. Let's listen.
Okay, wait.
That's some good, sorting. What? Show us what you're rooting through there.
No, it's just
Can you dump it all out? Can you dump it all out on the table?
Glass jars and plastic.
Yeah, can you dump it all out? All over the
I
place?
just did. What do you think that was?
Boy, this is a hard group to keep focused.
Always drink gin with a mark, kid. You can't tell if you tell it.
Hello, this is Ricardo Montalban.
Honey, they're in everybody's eggs.
This fella Casey went to the doctor down in County Cork and said, can you give me something for me wind? The doctor gave him a kite.
John, do you have your D346?
Yeah, it's primed and ready.
All right.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Wait,
can we play
insert-
the music from... Can we play that sound from Press Your Luck?
Yeah, I'll insert a dice shaking sound here.
No, the sound from Press Your Luck.
Right?
Big money, no whammies.
No whammies.
American dollar.
All right, come on, big paper. What do we got?
And the topic is...
Can we turn off that soundtrack?
Oh,
and,
sorry.
And the topic is 159. That's 159.
159, consulting the database is... Correct way to play air saxophone. That's a great topic. All right. Okay, so...
Jeremy, keep in mind this is an audio podcast.
I'll take it. So, look, in my mind... Let me start things off. This is a great topic. I think that there's a couple options. I think there's basically two options. One way to play air saxophone is to hold your hands roughly as if you were playing an actual saxophone, which is to say that like both hands are kind of in front of you on the neck of some fictional saxophone. The other way to play air saxophone is a variation on that made famous in the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles by John Candy, wherein the air saxophone player sticks their thumb in their mouth on the top hand in order to simulate the end of the saxophone going into their mouth.
The reed.
Just to clarify, this would be the scene in which he's listening to the Ray Charles song, "The Mess Around," on the radio,
great song,
while driving a car on the interstate.
Doing the mess around.
Just so we're clear
That's a
on
good
what
song. That's a good
scene
sequence.
of that classic John Hughes movie we're talking about.
In case you were thinking of a different scene in which John Candy plays the air saxophone without making any innovation.
Was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles a John Hughes movie?
Yes.
Are you kidding
yes, it
me?
was.
I did not know that.
That is John Hughes magnum opus.
It's the best movie of anybody
That's his.
I thought for a second that you. I thought you had maybe.
No, it's hard to know that it's a John Hughes movie because there's no dipshit teenagers in it.
It's a great movie.
Except for the ones that buy the shower curtain rings.
Oh yeah, you're right. You could pass for 16, 17.
Is this a coincidence or what?
I don't want to get us off topic. It's a great movie. It is not John Hughes' Ring Cycle. It is John Hughes' Tristan und Isolde.
Okay, fine.
John Hughes' Ring Cycle is the sequence. It's the sequence of 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, and Breakfast Club.
That's the entire opera.
Wait, I'm sorry, Chris. 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, and what was the last one?
Breakfast Club. And to clarify, those may not be in order, but those
Those
are
movies all suck.
put together. Those are John Hughes' Ring Cycle.
What about?
Except for
They do not all suck.
Long Duck Dong is
Okay, this is
Long
this
Duck
is
Dong
kind
is
of a different
offensive.
topic now.
No, that's good. We have Long Duck Dong sound effects, so let's.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even have to upload those. Those are already in the...
This could be an entire episode.
What about? Did he do the movie Say Anything?
No,
I don't think so.
You know what? He also didn't do Gung Ho.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna have to.
Can we
reel this back in and get back to the topic at hand, which is
Jeremy? Can we at
The
least
movie Baby's Day Out.
can we agree on the Tristan and
who's
Isolde
talking
that
to.
was not?
No,
Okay,
neither
go on.
of Look Who's Talking movies.
what? I'm sorry. What did you say, Chris?
I said he
No.
also innovated. He also played the piano on the dashboard.
Yeah,
During
that
the
was
same-
that was
Irrelevant.
really funny.
Irrelevant
That's
to
a very
the topic
call that
at
air
hand.
piano?
We are not
I don't think-
discussing the correct ways to play air piano.
Jeremy was an aside. I'm sorry to go off topic.
That's fine. I should have known better than to bring up the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That was just asking for... Honestly, I'm surprised that we are not doing a line-for-line recitation of that movie.
Marketing super.
I did that the other day. I found an online quiz where the point of the quiz was to type in word for word the dialogue at the rental car counter.
Welcome to
Literally word for word.
Okay, two quick points.
put it in the chat
We'll
room.
put the link in the show notes description.
2 quick points. Number one, it doesn't matter what we say here because everything is going to be completely overshadowed in the editing with sound effects from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Like what we say will be inaudible.
Or possibly Uncle Bob.
Point two, we recently went through most of the John Hughes canon with Tilo, and I warned him before Planes, Trains, and Automobiles that there was a part with inappropriate language, and throughout the first half or so of the movie, every time anyone swore,
I don't know
he
what
would
scene
be
you're
like,
talking about.
Was that the inappropriate part? Was that the
No,
inappropriate part?
It was the scene when he's like,
When we got
I'm looking forward to my daddy coming home for Thanksgiving.
yeah, he was like, was that inappropriate?
Were they talking about the relative merits of Indian burns versus noogies?
Exclamation point,
Well,
dollar
as you
sign
get
at
Indian burns.
percenting there. And I really didn't care to exclamation point, dollar sign at percenting.
Shut up!
down
This is an anecdote! When we got to the actual the rental car sequence where Steve Martin says fuck about 18 times, he was just like his jaw hit the floor. He didn't know that such swearing was possible.
Do they not have that word in Australia?
I don't know. He hung out with me the other day.
Well, that was after he saw Planes, Trains, and
Was
Automobiles.
he
This was about a
confused
month
because they
ago.
weren't saying, I don't know, bollocks or something?
The other day, when
yes.
the day that Tilo stayed at my house when he was sick the other day, and we went to he wanted. I took him to lunch. We went to Oklahoma Joe's barbecue, and on the way there, he said,
And then he got sick.
because his dad, Christopher Winter, is a vegetarian, and Tilo said to me, he said, like, "Are you a vegetarian, Uncle Jeremy?" I said, "Fuck no," like without even thinking. I was like, "Fuck no." And then I was like, "Oh, sorry." And he was like, and he said, "No, Uncle Jeremy, that's okay. I want you to know it's okay for you to say inappropriate things like that, because I think it's funny.
He's a good kid.
He's precocious.
Yeah.
That's funny because he gets angry at me or Christine if we say stuff like that.
I didn't realize that was funny.
We're not
until
allowed to
You know,
because we're his parents.
He can't take advantage of Jeremy, but he can play you like a saxophone.
To sum up, I think we've all agreed that with or without thumb, both are acceptable. It's probably more accurate to the saxophone to not put your thumb in your mouth, but it's certainly acceptable when playing air saxophone to put the thumb in your mouth if you so choose.
Jeremy, do you think it matters like what kind of saxophone it is, like whether it's a bari,
No,
or
there's
an alto,
actually
or...
there's only one type of saxophone, and so no. I think we have a caller on the line.
No, the white phone.
Yeah, hello.
Very room. Trace the call. It's coming from inside the house.
Hello, I seem to be segment 2. How many Daves can we name?
All right. Okay. This will be. I'll be leading this segment. Okay. So topic 2 is my topic, and I'll be leading this segment. This will be my segment. I'll be leading this segment. Okay. So every single person listening to this podcast obviously listened to the episode
00027. Oversized inexplicable green hat.
The segment was called "How Many Steves Can We Name?" And I thought it was a very unsuccessful topic while we were doing it, but
you left out several Steves.
It's kind of the highlight.
The edited version, I thought, was particularly amusing. So this is a high concept segment. This is called "How Many Daves Can We Name?" And regular listeners will recognize the conceit of this topic from various other topics we've done, which use different names. But this version is "How Many Daves Can We Name?" So I'm going to lay out some ground rules here. We're all going to. Somebody's going to say go. No, somebody's going to put 5 minutes on the clock.
Oh, do we have 5 minutes?
5 minutes. We did 2 minutes last time.
The last time we did 2 minutes. You want to do 5 minutes?
Yeah,
we'll probably come up with more if we do 5.
There are more Daves than there are Steves.
Should we just go till we have all the Daves? All right.
Who's editing this?
John. So that's fine. As long as I don't have to put in 5 minutes of sound effects on a Dave segment.
No, that's 5 minutes like live. It'll get edited down to like 4 minutes and 45 seconds. But the ground rules are: somebody is going to put 5 minutes on the clock. Somebody else is going to say.
Okay, I'll put 5 minutes on the clock.
I already put 5 minutes on.
Okay, I'll say go.
That's fine. Okay.
No, you're going to say
right now.
Wait.
No, not yet.
No, but I will be the one saying
when
that
I say
word when it is appropriate.
Okay, John. When
See,
I say
I feel
go,
like Chris is going to
you're
feel
gonna
left
say
out
go.
now because he doesn't have a job to do.
Isn't it my job to say Dave's?
Yeah.
Wait, Danny.
This is all Chris.
Danny, can you explain
Danny,
I
wasn't
feel
done.
like this would be easier if you would like lay out the rules. Like, how's this going to go down?
Can I ask a question? Is it only Daves, or can we name Davids and Davies?
No, Davids are allowed. Davids are definitely allowed.
What about Davy?
First name.
Somebody
name
with
Dave.
the last name of Davis.
What about
or
Davey?
Stevenson or
what about Davey?
I forgot that we were doing
Yes,
Dave's name.
obviously. Did you listen to the segment? How many
I
Steves?
do not
you
listen to our podcast. I do not listen.
You really should check. Like, if you only listen to one segment of any of our 30 podcasts so far, as a member of the podcast,
I don't listen to our podcast.
How many Steves
I don't listen to our podcast because it makes me want to eat beehives. And I'm not doing that anymore.
And you're in a minority.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Do you at least download it to boost our numbers?
I'm thinking about what's good for me. I'm doing what's right for Chris.
Well, honey is one of the oldest medicines.
And it's so mouthwatering.
And it never goes bad.
Are we going to do this?
It never goes bad.
Yeah,
If you crush up a bunch of, like,
All right, we've got 5 minutes on the clock.
I actually listen to our podcast.
Well,
Never mind, guys.
If you put bits and pieces of things in it, kind of could be approach sludge.
Nice callback, Danny. For further details on the distinction between slime, grime and sludge, be sure to check out Bear Friend Tea Party episode 00025. Build that machine into an anthropomorphized chair.
That's post-production.
Yeah, that's post-production.
That is going to happen when there's going to be silly music and there's going to be
I feel like I'm hearing a beer
game
commercial
show
in the
style
background.
It's gonna be
dings
Marie's
and
wedding, right?
buzzers. Yeah, I think
Is
so.
that a beer
I'm not
commercial?
Sure, but
Marie's wedding? No, it's a classic.
it is a
beer
bear
garden
commercial.
classic.
And go.
Dave Coulier.
1 Dave.
God damn it, that was mine.
David Spade.
2 Daves.
Dave Cross.
3 Daves.
David Faustino.
4
David
Daves.
Hume.
5
Dave
Daves.
Thomas, the
6
founder of
Daves.
Wendy's.
Dave
David.
Thomas.
Repeat Dave.
The other Dave Thomas, the actor.
7
David
Daves.
Crosby of
H.
Crosby,
Daves.
Stills, and Nash.
Oh, David Cross.
Oh,
9
that's a good
Daves.
one.
I already
That's
said
a good
David.
one.
Stand-up comedy.
Repeat
David
Dave.
Foster Wallace.
10 Daves.
Dave.
Non-famous Dave.
Dave Attell.
11
Stand-up
Daves.
Davy
comedy.
Jones.
12
Yes,
Daves.
Davy Jones from the
Repeat
Dave
Dave.
Eggers.
13
Dave
Daves.
Grohl.
14 Daves.
Oh, Davy Jones of Davy Jones's Locker.
15 Daves.
British Prime Minister David Cameron.
That's a separate
16
name.
That's
Daves.
good. That's good.
Thank you.
David Trump.
Not a real
You
person.
said David Cameron?
Yeah.
Repeat
Dave
Dave.
Davies. Isn't there
17
someone called
Yeah,
Dave
there's
Davies?
definitely someone
Repeat
named
Dave.
Stevie. from
Repeat
last
Dave.
time.
Oh,
I think that should count for double.
Oh, Dave Thomas, the
Davies.
founder of
Dave.
Wendy's, and Dave Thomas, the guy from...
already
Dave.
both named.
Oh, come on. Do you not have your headphones on?
David Letterman.
18 Daves.
David Hyde Pierce.
19
David
Daves.
Lynch.
20 Daves.
I'm like totally
Big Dave.
blanking. I can't think of
Dave.
a single Dave.
David Williams.
21 Daves.
David Tennant? Is
22
that a guy?
Yeah.
David
Daves.
Tennant.
Repeat Dave.
David Sedaris.
Dave
23
David
Daves.
Sano.
Damn,
24
you're good.
Daves.
David Thompson.
Non-famous
David
Dave.
Johnson.
Non-famous
David-
Dave.
Okay,
You're just saying common names.
let me ask you this: have we said David Lee Roth yet?
25 Daves.
No,
David Lee
that's
Roth.
We should.
Repeat
We
Dave.
should.
Sammy Van Hagen.
Not even close to being a Dave.
David,
Cut that out.
David Copperfield.
26 Daves.
David.
The magician or the character?
Doesn't matter.
Both. Okay, no,
Saint
that's two.
David.
David Copperfield.
27
Aaron Durrell,
Daves.
You know, we
and
should-
David
should we
Copperfield.
pause?
Repeat Dave.
Yes.
Oh,
No, because if
oh,
we're going to
oh,
accept Dave Thomas, the actor,
Repeat Dave.
David Klotz.
28 Daves.
Dave Plain.
Non-famous Dave.
Dave Barry.
29
Dave Barry. Yeah.
Daves.
No, but
And
Dave Barry
that's
got in under the
time.
wire, right? Yes.
I think I
glad I
said
got-
Dave Barry like a while ago. So, how many Daves was that?
Total number of Daves named 29.
I can't believe we managed to name
29.
Daves.
I thought we were going to get stuck in about
15.
Daves, but man,
Danny,
Jeremy, you pushed it over the edge to really make
29.
You know that game would be a lot easier if you didn't have to say their last names.
A podcast. A podcast. A very cool and sensual podcast.
Segment 3, the philosophical problem with the whole left shark meme.
Okay, this is my topic.
Do it.
Several weeks ago, I was made aware of a meme that has been going around on the internet called Left Shark. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
Yes.
No, I have not. Explain it.
I had not until I read the
Explain it.
topic, and then I looked it up.
Explain it for our listeners
And
me.
So
it's a visual meme, so
You guys know what- you guys know about-